sick of people at ESPN or Sports Center who think they have their heads on their shoulders but really don't? Well, it's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show. We're going to give you the most urgent sports news. Now it's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show. Sit back, buckle up, and get ready for the #1 sports show on the web. Here we go, my friends. Hey, happy Tuesday. It's me, your host, Jimmy the K. You see me each and every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Hope you're having a wonderful week. And with that being said, let's get to the sports news. There's not a whole lot of sports news going on out there. I could get into some stuff, and I may towards the end of the show. The media being kicked out of the Dallas Cowboys locker room. It's not necessarily that they got kicked out. There's new rules being brought up to the media staff as to how they are to conduct themselves in the Dallas Cowboys locker room, like the media don't already know. You know, Jerry Jones spouting off his mouth as usual, but we'll get more into that later. We'll start off with the NFL Power Rankings. Then we're going to go to the 3 or 4 stories that I have posted on the All About Sports Zone page. From there, I will possibly talk about the media credentials thing at Valley Ranch, and then a feel good story out of the Oklahoma City Thunder camp and Russell Westbrook that just has to be shared with you. It's a very heartwarming story from Russell Westbrook. With that being said, let's go ahead and look at the NFL Power Rankings through Week 15. The NFL Power Rankings, remember, each and every week I go through the NFL Power Rankings from the NFL, and then give you my take as to my power rankings from there. So, after Week 15, this is how the NFL's power rankings look. At number 1, staying there, is the Carolina Panthers. 2, the Cardinals. 3, Patriots. 4, Seahawks. 5, Steelers. 6, Broncos. 7, Packers. 8, Chiefs. 9, Bengals. 10, Jets. Vikings 11, Raiders 12, Giants 13, 14, Redskins, Eagles 15, 16, Bills, 17, Texans, Saints 18, 19, Buccaneers, 20, Bears, 21, Jaguars, 22, Dolphins, 23, Colts, 24, Rams, 25, Lions, 26, Browns, 27, 49ers, Falcons 28, 29 Dallas Cowboys, 30th Ravens, 31 Chargers, and 32 the Tennessee Titans. That's the NFL Power Rankings. If I were to rank them, this is how my rankings would be. And the top 5 or so are pretty well the same, with a couple of tweaks here and there. Number 1, the Panthers. Number 2, I'm going to put the Patriots in the number 2 spot. Number 3, the Cardinals. 4 stays the Seahawks. 5 stays the Steelers. Packers go to 6. 7 goes Broncos. 8 Chiefs. 9 Bengals. 10 stays the Jets. 11 stays the Vikings. 12 the Giants. 13 Raiders. 14 Redskins. 15 Eagles. Stay 16 with the Bills. The 17 with the Texans. 18 with the Buccaneers. 19 with the Saints. 20th with the Bears. Jaguars stay 21. 22 stays Dolphins. 23 stays the Colts. The Rams stay 24. The Lions 25. I'm going to put 26 for the 49ers. 27 for the Browns. 28 stays the Falcons. 29 Ravens. 30th Chargers. 31 Titans, and 32 goes to the Dallas Cowboys. That's how I'd rank the top 32 teams in the NFL. Now, with that being said, that's week 15 in the NFL. Tom Brady had yet another good game against the Houston Texans. And that's why I moved them ahead of the Arizona Cardinals, as I really feel like the Cardinals don't stand a chance. Really, if you put the Cardinals and the Panthers together, you're going to get one of the two equating each other, equaling each other out, and from equaling each other out, you're going to get the Patriots in that number 2 spot. And to be quite honest with you, I still have the Patriots winning the Super Bowl, even if the Carolina Panthers run the table and the Patriots run the table. Tom Brady has more experience than Cam Newton, and the defense of the New England Patriots is almost unstoppable. So, with that being said, I still have the Patriots winning the Super Bowl this year, despite the Panthers being number 1 in the NFL, and the undefeated record, and the Cardinals being just as good. Despite all that, I still have the Patriots winning the Super Bowl. Really, Tom Brady's more seasoned than both the Cardinals quarterback and Cam Newton. So, with that being said, congratulations, Patriots. You won the Super Bowl. No, I'm kidding. We're not going there just yet. All right, now to a couple of sports things. I'm going to go over this briefly. The Cubs signed Jason Heyward to a 8-year, $160 million deal with a $20 million signing bonus. Now, that signing bonus for the Cubs is deferred to the 2019 season when their new TV deal is kicked in. So even at that, he still makes $20 million a year. Pretty doggone good money. I wish I'd made $20 million a year, but that's just not happening, is it? I wish I could. I wish I might. But even with the Cubs spending as much as they have, what I've said throughout the years about teams spending so much money, whether it be NFL teams, NBA teams, or MLB teams, NFL teams. Um, a lot of times those teams spend a lot of money on those players, and those players don't perform until that last year. Now, you look statistically looking at the statistics, players always perform better in that contract year. Why do they perform better in that contract year? Because they want to make that money. When they make that money, it's off the board. They end up injured. They end up with surgeries that they've needed for 5 or 6 years prior to that. And with that, you end up spending a lot of money on a crappy player. So spending a lot of money on a sports player or on the best players out there is not going to win you the Super Bowl, not going to win you the World Series, and not going to win you the World Cup in soccer. It's not going to win you the NBA championship, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to end up screwed, because a lot of times you're going to end up trading those players that you spend a lot of money on. You're going to end up regretting it, because those players will not perform over the span of that time. A little bit more baseball news, and that's that of Pete Rose will not be reinstated by Major League Baseball. Now, supposedly and allegedly, Pete Rose admitted during his interview with the MLB commissioner, Rob Manfred, that he still gambles on the game, albeit legally. Did that help or hurt his chances of being reinstated? Probably 99.9945% chance that it hurt himself, because the truth of the matter is, what they didn't want to hear is that he was still gambling on the game. You know, you know, as I said, once a cheater, always a cheater. And I got a question from a viewer from something that was posted on my page. Well, didn't they forgive Shoeless Joe Jackson? Well, these guys may have been forgiven, but they were not reinstated. Matter of fact, I think it was somewhere in the 90s. Shoeless Joe Jackson was asked to be reinstated. He was not reinstated. They went back about it, over the last few years, and he still hasn't been reinstated. Now, are these players forgiven? Yes, they may be forgiven, behind closed doors amongst the commissioner of the sport. But are they reinstated? No, they're not reinstated back to the sport. Again, the thing that hurt Pete Rose is the fact that he's admitted to still gambling on the game. If you admit to doing something that you were banned on from the sport many, many years ago, it's not going to help your credentials one bit. So with that being said, I'm sorry, Pete Rose, you're no longer in baseball. One more thing, it's on the page, you saw it. Johnny Cueto signs with the San Francisco Giants. The deal was, I believe, reported at 145 to 150 million over, I believe, a 6-year span. Either way, the guy's rich. I wish I had the money. He joins a rotation that also added Jeff Samardzija. So the San Francisco Giants just got a little deadlier as well. So congratulations to Johnny Cueto on signing with the San Francisco Giants. Now the last thing. And I'm going to go over this word for word. This is on the website through the blog. It's the title of it was Domestic Violence and the Athlete, and I definitely want to go over this. And viewer discretion is advised. I also put that on the blog as well. The content is graphic. There are some things that if you have a teenager and you don't want your teenager hearing these, you might want to have them leave the room, because I'm not going to apologize for something that was written about that needed to be written about. And I'm going to go over this not word for word, but somewhat verbatim, just to let you get the gist. I would hope that this title or that the title of it would have you percolated. But it's definitely not a subject that I even like talking about or writing about. The athlete and domestic violence is becoming a hot topic, from names like Ray Rice and Aroldis Chapman to athletes still unnamed. Unfortunately, I have to dive into a subject that I much rather leave alone. So, what is it with the All-American athlete and domestic violence? Why is it happening, and how can it be stopped? Definitely, let's start off by looking at domestic violence amongst athletes and look at the numbers that are just downright appalling. The statistics are worse among those in the NFL, as a 14-year report by NBC reported. In the reported survey of 1 year, 252 athletes, 14% of the athletes football, 7% baseball, 6% were basketball and hockey players. The numbers are downright appalling, and the numbers are just getting worse with names like Ray Rice and Aroldis Chapman of the Cincinnati Reds was brought to light, causing his chances of being traded to basically be squandered. Next, let's take a look at why domestic violence is happening amongst the athletes. This one is obvious, as the professional sports leagues have turned a blind eye to it for so many years. The leagues have known about this for some time, most notably the NFL, and have not done anything. If you turn a blind eye to something and don't nip it in the bud at first sign, the problem of the issue or with the issue will continue to happen until something is done. Domestic violence is a real thing and needs to be stopped. But what I don't want someone to say or think is that domestic violence is sexually spanking your significant other or tying that significant other up as a sexual game. And so, as long as it's consensual between the two adults, it's not domestic violence. That's definitely not the definition of domestic violence. So if that's what you think, you might as well just stop listening from right on. I'm confident that the majority of athletes do not perform or engage in domestic violence. But for the ones that do, it is time that the leagues bring notice to their names and do something to stop it, and stop it now. If that is banning athletes that perform the act of domestic violence from the leagues that they are attributed to, then so be it. Now to the part I briefly touched on a little bit under the last section. And the last section is how can we stop it? First and foremost, the athletes need to know that the leagues are watching and taking notice and won't tolerate it one bit. I am a sports fan through and through and love sports, but need to see the leagues taking no tolerance stance on issues like domestic violence. My take is that if a player is found guilty of domestic violence, that they are banned from that sports league that they are affiliated with. I'm not a huge fan of the teams doing domestic violence classes, just like health in high school. It really didn't do good for the girls not getting pregnant. These classes are useless in the sports world. So give these players a ban for life from the league that they are affiliated with, and after the first one or two players, they will get it through the thick schools. It's definitely not a subject that I wanted to even talk about or ever thought I would be talking about. But sometimes you have to get over the hump and show the sports world the true numbers. I would like to reiterate, though, that the definition of domestic violence has nothing to do with significant others spanking each other in erotic passion or something that is done between a married couple or significant others that is consensual, that is done amongst themselves, or even the definition of domestic violence is not BDSM. All right, that's not domestic violence. If it's consensual between the two adults, then that's definitely not domestic violence. So what are your thoughts on this issue amongst athletes? Sports Guy 241 says maybe the lady was asking for it. Maybe she was asking for what? To be hit? The truth of the matter is, I have no problem with a man or a woman spanking their significant other as long as it is in consensual form. But when it becomes something where the woman says, don't do it, and you continue to do it, and you hit her or you punch her, That's domestic violence. The ladies don't ask to be hit. All right. If if that's your definition of you know domestic violence, then so be it. But the truth of the matter is, the ladies are not asking for it. Now, Sports Guy 241 reiterates that that stuff sounds abusive. The spanking a significant other or a spouse in consensual form is not abusive. If you believe that is abusive, you can stop watching right now. Because the truth of the matter is, if something is consensual between two adults, it's not illegal and it's not abuse. As long as it's consensual between the two. Now, the definition of domestic violence, Sports Guy 241, is that of a man or a woman hitting that significant other for no good reason. You didn't clean the dishes, you walk up to your woman, you slap her. That's domestic violence. What, you don't want Chinese food? You grab her by the collar and you drag her to the car. That's domestic violence. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be stopped amongst these athletes. Plain and simple as that. Ban them for life as a zero tolerance act. Enough said. It's the same thing with cheating. If you're caught cheating, you're a cheater. You should stop, with the 50 game suspensions, the 100 game suspensions, the 150 game suspensions, because the truth of the matter is, the player knows they can do it twice. As long as they don't do it that third time, they won't be banned from that sport. So with that being said, that's that. That was basically verbatim from the All About Sports Zone page. It's my take on the All-American athlete and domestic violence. Now to the feel-good story. I'm going to end with the feel-good story of the day. And the feel-good story of the day is that of Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, the point guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder, did something quite kind for somebody over the holidays, fulfilling a 13-year-old boy's wish. And I want to read this verbatim, or actually, I want to read this word for word from the ESPN website. So I can't take credit from this. This is actually Royce Young, an ESPN sports writer. So I'm gonna read this word for word. But this is Royce Young's article. I give him 100% of the credit, but this is definitely something that you want to end a show with. It's in the world of media, we call this a kicker because it's a feel-good story put at the end of a newscast. So there's your kicker for the show. It's Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook had a pretty standard Monday ahead of him. He'd go to practice that morning, review film of the Oklahoma City Thunder's overtime win over the Utah Jazz the night before. Then, that evening, he'd attend the team's annual Holiday Assist charity event where they buy gifts for underprivileged kids. But in between, Westbrook had a different Christmas wish to take care of. Janae is a 13-year-old boy from Moore, Oklahoma, who has spent the last 6 months at Children's Center Rehabilitation Center in Bethany. He's there because in June, while riding his bike, a bullet from a drive-by shooting hit him in his neck, crushing his third vertebrae and leaving him paralyzed from the neck down. He's gone through months of surgeries and rehabilitation and is coping with the fact he'll likely live the rest of his life a quadriplegic. His one Christmas wish was, though, to meet Russell Westbrook. And on Monday afternoon, showing up unannounced and entirely by himself, Westbrook met Janae. Director of Communications at Children's Center, Melissa Ritchie, said, and I quote, "We literally just got a call that Russell Westbrook was in our lobby ready to see Janae. No cameras, no handlers, no photo op. Just Westbrook with some signed shoes and an autographed jersey." Ritchie says, and I quote, "The way that it happened was exactly how it should have happened." That's something that I think made it even more special because you could tell it wasn't a publicity stunt, she said. It was the kindness out of his own heart to take time out of his day, knowing he had another event that night. To take time to do that was really cool for us to see that. Westbrook spent almost an hour at the center talking to Janae. A normally very talkative 13-year-old was starstruck, but eventually loosened up to exchange a little smack talk with Westbrook. You see, Janae is also a big fan of LeBron James and claims the Cleveland Cavaliers as his favorite team. And the Thunder play the Cavs on Thursday. Russ had to do some of the talking to get him going, but once Janae started getting comfortable, the smack talk started. It was really funny between the two of them. Russ was such a great sport and gave it to him back. He didn't hold back with him. It was really fun to watch the two of them together. Janae hasn't been home since the accident, and before he can return to his house, his family has to raise enough money to renovate the home to be handicap accessible. Working with an organization called Serve More, the family is looking to raise $80,000 for a van to widen the front door to fit his wheelchair through, build a ramp, raise the ceilings in his home, and supply a generator. With that being said, I would like for us fans here at the All About Sports Zone to chip in, to help out for Janae's cause. So, with that being said, for every new like, starting tonight through next week, for every new like that I get to the All About Sports Zone page, and don't just come to the page and like it and then be like, oh, next Tuesday I'm like it. Because the truth of the matter is, I will keep up with this. For every new like that I get to the All About Sports Zone page, I will attribute $1. And $1 is not a lot. You're going to sit here and go, anybody can attribute $1. But think about it. If I get 1,000 likes in the next week, I guess I have to dish out $1,000 to his cause, right? For every new like that I get to the All About Sports Zone page on Facebook, I will add $1 to Janae's organization, Serve More. We'll add $1 to his to Serve More to help with the raising the wheelchair, getting it through the ramp, and all that good stuff. So from now, let's do it this way. I feel like, Christmas is the time of year to get forgiving. So let's do it through the end of the new year. With every new like on the All About Sports Zone page, from now until January 1st, I will give $1 to Serve More for every new like that I get on the All About Sports Zone page, to serve more for Janae's cause. Getting that ramp built for the wheelchair, for the door, for the van, just to help the kid out. 13-year-old, a Russell Westbrook fan, LeBron James and Cleveland Cavaliers fan. Let's help him out. For every new like, from now until January 1st, I'm donating $1 for every new like to serve more. Until next Tuesday, remember there are 3 easy ways that you can get a hold of me. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/allaboutsportszone. Remember, every new like from now until January 1st gets $1 for that new like to the charity Serve More for Janae's cause. 2, you can email me at allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. Or 3, you can follow us on our Facebook or on our, you can like our website at www.screamerproduction.com or .wix.com/allaboutsportszone. Click on the fan gallery and it says contact us. You can click on contact us and you can contact us from there. Until next Tuesday, December 22nd, I'm your host, Jimmy the K. Remember to keep those new likes coming because every new like goes $1 to serve more in Janae's name. Until next Tuesday, December 22nd, I'm Jimmy the K. Peace out.